On the morning of December 4th, 2024, a man in a hooded jacket stepped out onto a Manhattan sidewalk, raised a gun, and shot a stranger in the back. That stranger was Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, and the man who pulled the trigger, Luigi Mangione, has spent the last year and a half turning into one of the strangest figures in American history. Let's walk through what we know so far as per the information available. Let's dive into who is this guy before any of this happened. Luigi grew up in a well-off family outside Baltimore, Maryland. As per court and background reporting, he was the valedictorian of his graduating class at an elite Baltimore prep school in 2016. From there, he went to the University of Pennsylvania, where he got his bachelor's and a master's degree in computer science. Generally speaking, some people were not expecting him to have such a background. Ivy League, good family, sharp, well-liked, and athletic. That contrast was partly why this case grabbed the world's attention the way it did. Let's talk about the morning this incident took place. December 4th, 2024. Brian Thompson, CEO of UnitedHealthcare, was walking alone outside a Hilton hotel in Midtown Manhattan. He was there for UnitedHealthcare's annual investor conference just hours before it was set to start. Surveillance cameras caught the whole situation. A masked man approached Thompson from behind and shot him multiple times in the back. According to police, shell casings recovered at the scene had 3 words scratched into them: delay, deny, and depose. As per investigators, those words were familiar. This is a well-known phrase used to criticize how insurance companies handle or avoid handling claims. Thompson, who was a 50-year-old man and a father of 2 teenage sons, died at the scene. What followed was a 5-day manhunt that gripped the entire country. Investigators tracked movements through the city, pulled surveillance footage from a hostel. They would eventually get a lead when they found a footage from McDonald's in New York, where the suspect had reportedly used a laptop. The break came in Altoona, Pennsylvania, when a McDonald's employee recognized a customer's face from the wanted posters circulating online and called it in. The following part is well documented from later courtroom testimony. Officer Christy Wasser of the Altoona Police Department responded to that call. Body camera footage played in court later showed her searching the suspect's backpack and finding a gun magazine wrapped oddly inside a pair of underwear. As per that same body camera footage, another officer in the background can be heard reacting the moment they realized who they had. Inside that backpack, officers say they also found a 3D printed handgun, a homemade silencer, and a red spiral notebook filled with handwritten pages. Prosecutors would later refer to that notebook as a manifesto. His defense team has pushed back hard on that label, calling it prejudicial and arguing it mischaracterizes what were, in their words, personal writings covering a range of experiences, not a confession document. Nonetheless, prosecutors have cited specific passages from that notebook in court filings. In one entry dated back to August 2024, months before the shooting, Luigi reportedly wrote about feeling confident in what he was planning and feeling no doubt about whether it was justified. Investigators also say the notebook and other documents on him laid out grievances about the health insurance industry, specifically naming UnitedHealthcare and criticizing what he saw as an industry that prioritizes profit over patient care. A law enforcement official told reporters at the time that in the writings, Luigi claimed he acted entirely alone. He was arrested that day under a fake ID, and it took prosecutors some time to sort out exactly how the case would be charged, because here's the thing most people don't realize. Luigi wasn't just facing one trial. He was facing 3 separate cases in 3 different jurisdictions. New York State charged him with murder. The federal government charged him with stalking, resulting in death. And Pennsylvania charged him separately over the weapon and the fake ID from the day of his arrest. For a while, the federal case carried the heaviest possible stakes. The Department of Justice, under then Attorney General Pam Bondi, announced they would seek the death penalty. But this past January, a federal judge ruled that possibility out entirely. Around the same time, Luigi's legal team also scored a win in the state case, getting New York's terrorism-related charges dropped, which had been one of the more aggressive parts of the original indictment. Then, just this past week, Friday, August 14th, 2026, came the moment a lot of people weren't expecting quite this soon. Luigi pleaded guilty in the federal case. Not to murder, the federal charges were built around interstate stalking resulting in death. But as per his own words in court, he didn't dance around what happened. He told the judge plainly that on the morning of December 4th, he shot Thompson in Manhattan, and Thompson died. He also admitted, according to reporting from inside the courtroom, that he built the gun himself on a 3D printer and attached a silencer to it. Thompson's widow, Paulette, was in the courtroom for that. Reporters who were present described her wiping away tears as Luigi spoke. Thompson's family later released a statement saying the plea marked an important step toward justice, though, as they put it, nothing will ease the pain of losing him. There was no plea deal attached to this. Because there was no negotiated agreement, the federal judge, Margaret Garnett, has full discretion at sentencing. She did note that federal guidelines suggest a range of roughly 24 to 30 years, but she isn't bound by that. Legal analysts who have covered the case have said it's very likely he ends up with a sentence at or near life in prison regardless. Luigi still faces that separate state murder trial in New York, which is currently set to begin in September. His defense team is now trying to get that state case thrown out entirely, arguing double jeopardy, basically that you can't be prosecuted twice for the same case. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has already responded, saying flatly that they are prepared to fight that motion and remain committed to pursuing a conviction in state court. And on top of all that, there's still the Pennsylvania case waiting in the wings over the weapon and false identification from his arrest. This wasn't just another true crime story that stayed in true crime spaces. The killing set off a massive public conversation about the American healthcare system itself, about denied claims, about the cost of insurance, about corporate accountability. That's a huge part of the reason Luigi has drawn the level of attention and the level of public sympathy in some corners that he has. That reaction has made this case unusual, and it's part of why courts have had to be careful about jury selection and pretrial publicity. So where does it actually stand right now as of this week? The federal case is resolved with a guilty plea and a sentencing date in December. The state murder case in New York is still alive, heading toward trial in September, unless the double jeopardy motion succeeds first. And the Pennsylvania case is still sitting out there too. 3 courts, 3 sets of charges, and 1 case that's still not finished, even after everything that's already happened. Thank you for listening. This is one more story to go. If you have any comments or feedback, please leave me a comment.